Hey guys, what's up? It's Cecily, and warning, this is not a funny video. It's a serious video, probably considered a story time video about my experience with guns in response to the conversation that Obama had yesterday. I wanted to share my own story and why I think gun control is necessary. I've been wanting to tell the story for a long time. But you know, the thought of it kind of makes me a little anxious because, I mean, with guns comes death, and it definitely was a near-death experience for my family. 2 years ago, my kids and I were, man, I get nervous to tell this story. Okay, so weird. 2 years ago, my kids and I were getting ready to go out. I was in my room, and the kids are getting dressed. Session, my daughter, was walking around with the baby, a year old at the time, and my son was slow to get ready and trying to put his clothes on. He's always the last one to get ready, so he's in his room trying to find his coat. So Session comes back and forth between my room and his room, and she's like, Anaye won't hurry up, he's not getting ready. And I'm like screaming over my shoulder, Anaye, hurry up and get ready so we can go. I mean, I'm damn near mad because he's like lagging so much. I hear Session go back to tell him to get ready, and they get into a little verbal altercation. So the 3 kids are in one room. She comes back towards me to tell on him, Mama, Anaye said whatever, and then we hear a loud. Me and Sasha look at each other and we're like, what was that? We go to the hallway and Anaye is standing in the hallway. But behind him, you can see in the room, there's like a cloud of smoke. And so initially I'm like, okay, everybody's okay, good. But I'm like, get the fuck out of here. There's a hole in the wall right next to my son's bed. Here's his bed and here's the hole in the wall. Pieces of the wall scattered all over the floor, whatever these walls are made out of, and there's these tiny little pebbles all over the place. So for some reason, I'm thinking that something happened to a pipe. Now, I don't know how those little tiny balls will come from the pipe, but I'm thinking if the wall could explode, it can explode again. So I tell the kids, run to my sister's house, which is across the street. So I'm like trying to gather myself and like figure out what the hell is going on. Like, nobody has come to my door, nobody has called me, no one in my apartment place has said anything, okay? And that's unusual because we can hear everybody thinking. I call my landlord, she's not answering, and you know, maybe this whole place can blow. Like, maybe that whole wall could cave in. Like, you know, what if my son was standing in that very place, which all the kids were standing just a few seconds before. So I run upstairs and I knock on my landlord's door, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it. So I call 911 in the hallway. 911, what's your emergency? Like, you know, there was a loud thud, it was in my apartment, and you know, they're going through the standard, are you okay? Is anybody hurt? And I'm like, no, and I just don't know what this is. And then here, my neighbor walks up the stairwell. He looks up at me, and I look at his face, and at that very moment I realize he did it, and it was a gun. So I walk down a few steps, he walks up a few steps, his face is red, and he's like, is everyone okay? And I'm like, yeah, everyone's okay. What happened? And he says to me, I was cleaning my gun and my gun went off, and I'm so sorry. And my first question to him was like, why did you wait 5 minutes to come and to see if we were okay? And he said he was scared. And, you know, he was a really quiet guy. We exchanged pleasantries every time we would see each other, but we'd never had a full conversation. You know, he'd lived here for like 20 years or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, you know, nice guy or not, you could have killed my children and you were too afraid to come and see if they were okay. What the fuck are you doing with a gun, right? Like, so the police are on their way, of course, and he's apologetic. My landlord, I guess she was in her room or something, comes out, and I sit down in my apartment. He's telling me he's sorry. He goes back to his apartment. 9 police officers show up, okay? all of them show up, they ask me questions, and by this time we have the story down, we know what happened. And a few of my neighbors come in, and they're kind of like, at this point they're consoling me because basically all of my energy, everything has come together. Now I know what happened. I almost lost my children. And what happens next? Because this fool is cleaning his gun on his bed in his room. Like, I don't want to die. Like, I don't want to go to bed tonight. I mean, like, what's in the wall? Like, what if something crawls out? Like, I'm thinking about all this random stuff. And am I now not safe? And like, how many other people that live around me have guns? And I don't know. And we've never known. And they're nice people, and they're cool people, and they may make a mistake, and then there goes my son, or there goes all my kids, or there goes me, because he had an urge to clean his gun. And I was interviewed by several police officers, and then the captain came out, and they all, they were really considering whether they should arrest him and what to arrest him for, because, like, was it a registered gun? What were you doing? Were you being negligent? That sort of thing. And I really think they took the fact that he didn't have any prior criminal history and that he was a nice older man in account, and they were like, we will take your gun and you don't need a gun, and that will be your punishment. And they asked me if I was okay with that, and I said yes. And he came over to me with all the police officers around, and he apologized to me over and over again for scaring me and for putting my family in danger. And he told me he would never do that again, and I accepted his apology. And the next day he wrote a note again, and he put it on my mailbox, and he apologized to me again. And he moved like about a month or so after that. I would see him about, and he just wore the weight of what happened on him, which was good, because in this society, people would be like, whatever, I killed you, whatever, I ran over your baby, and, like, people just don't have any compassion for other people. And so, as much as I want to be angry, I was like, we're here. Of course, it's horrible to see these things happen to innocent people being shot for various reasons. All of the things that we've seen, things at the schools, what happened here in San Bernardino recently, all of this stuff is heartbreaking, but we fail to even realize as American citizens that we live next door to people who have guns that don't necessarily know how to use them. And, you have other people that have access to guns as well. People get into arguments, people have accidents, children get into guns. My cousin, I grew up with guns in the house. My mom had shotguns, and I've seen them shotguns on a couple of occasions, trust me. When I was acting crazy, she wouldn't let me in the house. I want to have the choice to know that I'm living next to somebody that has a gun. That's all I'm saying. Like, is my life in danger if I go, get crunk because you took my package and I'm mad about it? Are you going to pistol whip me? Are you going to shoot me? These are just things that you just never know, especially if you live in a big city like Los Angeles, like I do. You never know who's packing. You never know when this could happen. This could happen to any of us. I live in Sherman Oaks. Like, this area is not ghetto in the least. Like, I'm the only black person that lives here. Anyway, I just want to get this story out. It's been on my heart to tell it, for a while. I usually share stuff on my vlog channel, which is right there, but I really wanted to share this, here because I have the most reach on this channel, and I appreciate you guys listening and tolerating story time. And I will be back for a comedic video that's going up this Friday, so check it out. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. If you guys have any comments on my video, please let me know below. I respond to every comment.